This next section is the traffic side of the equation. So if you've read a lot of content from me or you've kind of heard me talk a lot, I talk a lot about traffic and conversion. And the website really is conversion, right? You're trying to get somebody to convert from a visitor to a customer or a lead. And so from there, the other side of the equation is traffic. How are we driving additional people to the website on an ongoing basis? Now, any good traffic strategy is a retainer because you're going to get on, $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month type of contract with a customer, and you're going to help them drive targeted traffic to their website. And so I like to include this as an optional section because you don't want to get somebody overwhelmed with committing to too much in your proposal, but you also want to put all the chips on the table and say, look, our model is we're going to build you a website that converts really well, and then we're going to help drive you traffic to that website on a long-term basis. So this traffic piece is where you start to outline and educate what would happen after the website's live. So after we get the website live, we're going to start looking at doing some additional keyword brainstorming and discovery. We're going to do some in-depth keyword research. We're going to pick a basket of keyword phrases that we think are high traffic, and we're going to start to target those keywords and try to improve your ranking on those things. So that might include doing some competitive analysis. We're going to actually, do some local listing submissions on an ongoing basis. We're going to do some industry-specific directory placements to make sure that any place that lists businesses in your space that you're competing in those directories. We're going to start doing some link building. We're going to do link-based development, blogging, and PR submissions. There's a lot of different things you could do on an ongoing basis for search engine optimization, and we're going to make a recommendation here that we have a 15-hour-a-month retainer. So now again, this is an optional section for your customer. You're going to give them some options of things that they could do with your business that aren't a part of that core project. The same thing goes with social media monitoring. So this is a service that sometimes businesses don't like to do themselves. You ever go to a business where you see these messages that have been unanswered on their Facebook or Twitter page where people are mentioning them or they're posting to their wall and the business is never getting back to them? That comes down to social media monitoring. So this is a service that we outsource, but we include it as an optional ongoing fee for all of our projects. Also, an additional social media training. Most social media is best done by the business owner. So yeah, you can do some kind of high-level social media monitoring and some social media campaign engagement. But if you train a prospective business on how to do social media really, really well, then they should really be the ones that they're the voice of the business, that they're posting on Facebook or Twitter, or they're leveraging LinkedIn in the right way, or they're posting videos to YouTube. So we had designed a 13-hour training program for customers, and we'd outsource this to another social media expert, and she would basically execute this. So this was something that was a one-time fee, but again, it's under the optional section. We have some other services here like conversion optimization, where we would actually post live, start looking at things like heat maps and do some A/B testing post-launch to see if specific opt-in campaigns could be improved to drive additional leads and conversions for a specific call to action with the business. We have original media. So we already talked about content development. You can't avoid doing written content for your customer. But there's some additional original media that's potentially optional, like having an actual photographer come in and do some location shoots, having a videographer come in and do specific compilations or video montages about a specific business. Now, these are services for the most part, these kind of niche services that we outsource to other companies. So these are vendors that we were able to find on the back end, and then they were able to provide us kind of a basket of potential options that we could produce for our customers. So now once we've gotten through all of that, and again, this is kind of like I organized the scope of work to be kind of the end all be all, like this is the super project for our agency of all of this stuff with the additional options and that kind of stuff. So, once you get through all of that, and depending on the project, obviously, you may or may not include optional media. You may or may not include conversion, but I include them in this proposal template just so you can see what kind of the whole, the $30,000 or the $40,000 or the $50,000 project looks like for a prospective business. Now, this out of scope section is really important because you say, look, we know you're going to have additional content needs. We know that you're going to have, maybe there's items that they brought up in the sales process that you want to call out specifically. So that would be where you mention them. These are the things we are not going to do. A lot of times customers would bring up like third-party system integrations, and they'd say, well, Brent, we have this point of sale system and we want to, potentially have it on our website. And I do a little research around it. It turns out the point of sale system, has a $10,000 licensing fee, and the client didn't want to pay for that. So although I didn't include it in my scope of work, I might want to, just for my own protection, explicitly state that that specific item is not going to be in scope. So this is where I basically, anything that was brought up that in the sales process that I did research around, and we realized that it's not something that we really want to do, then I'm going to call that out in the additional content or the out of scope section of a proposal. So that's the scope of work section. It's probably one of the most important things for you to get right is this section, as far as limits, what you're going to be doing, what you're not going to be doing, your specific deliverables, the things that you're going to be, actually providing to your client, any kind of limitations or things that you're going to want to specifically outline in this scope of work.